Hello everyone, welcome to the presentation of our work, Getting the Best Bang for Your Buck, Choosing What to Evaluate for Faster Bayesian Optimization. My name is Shahriar. I am a PhD student at University of South Carolina. This is a collaboration with Jian Hai, Puyan from University of South Carolina, and Lars from University of Wyoming. As a general overview, we propose a decoupled and cost-aware multi-objective optimization technique here. This technique is particularly useful for resource-constrained complex applications to ensure faster performance optimization with limited budget. This session is organized into 4 sections. Initially, I'll talk about the challenges, later our approach, then I will talk about the experimental setup and results, and finally, future work. Modern deep neural networks are getting deployed in different applications such as natural language processing, computer vision, speech recognition, etc. The extensive deployment of modern deep neural networks are due to the increasing inference accuracy. Recently, modern deep neural networks have surpassed human-level accuracy for object detection applications. This increased accuracy of modern deep neural networks comes at the cost of increasing complexity. With the number of hyperparameters on the rise, the number of floating point operations are also increasing rapidly. This increased complexity is affecting performance objectives such as energy consumption or heat dissipation. A common strategy is to tune design options from each layer of the DNN system stack for performance optimization. However, there is not a single design that performs well for all objectives, and we need to find the design that provides the best trade-off, also known as Pareto optimal designs. Therefore, it is a search problem which involves costly functions evaluations. It is not possible to compute the gradient, so our dominant approach is to use a helper function, also known as acquisition function, as a proxy of the expensive functions to guide the search process. There have been a number of multi-objective optimization algorithms being proposed to determine the Pareto front using different acquisition functions. One general characteristic of all of these methods is that they consider the objective evaluation functions, which is the time required to compute an objective, to be uniform. State-of-the-art optimization approaches can be grouped into 3 categories. One is coupled unaware, which considers the objective evaluation cost is uniform and evaluates all the objectives at each iteration. Coupled aware approach, they evaluate only the designs with lower evaluation cost for all objectives. And decoupled unaware approach, which considers the objective evaluation cost is uniform and evaluates only a small subset of all the objectives. However, the objective evaluation cost can be different. For example, optimization of prediction error and energy consumption of DNN. Since when measuring prediction error, the DNN needs to be retrained, there is higher evaluation cost. Whereas for measuring energy consumption, it only requires reading measurements from the sensor, so it has lower evaluation cost. Therefore, the gap can be fulfilled by proposing a decoupled aware approach, which we consider taking for this work. So in our approach, we consider the objective evaluation is non-uniform, and we evaluate only a small subset of objectives at each iteration. Our intuition was that each function evaluation brings some information to the search process. So therefore, there is some objective for which the same information gain can be achieved with lesser cost. And if we can do that, we can save resources, and it would help us finding faster convergence for our optimization technique. So our resolution was that we considered the evaluation cost and information gain across each objective separately, and evaluating a design across an objective only when the information gain is high enough compared to the evaluation cost. In this way, save significant resources and avoid suboptimal solutions. To dig deeper, we find that this coupled aware approaches waste resources by evaluating designs with higher evaluation cost. Here you can see they have evaluated a lot of designs from the expensive regions. Coupled aware approaches are not particularly useful when the Pareto optimal designs are coming from regions with higher evaluation cost, because they tend to prefer evaluating designs from the lower evaluation cost and can produce suboptimal results. Decoupled unaware approaches suffer from evaluating a lot of designs of low quality, and they do not perform well for all objectives. Here you can see they have done well for prediction error, but have not done well for energy consumption. However, our decoupled aware approaches can find designs with better quality. You can see they have found designs with lower prediction error, and lower energy consumption. And also, they have only measured a design across the costly objective when the gain was higher enough. So in this way, they have saved a lot of resources. Therefore, our takeaway is that decoupled error approaches select the most number of high quality designs for evaluation, and also they are better candidates when difference between objective evaluation cost is higher when running under budget constraint. Now we'll describe our approach. Initially, we evaluate a number of initial designs. Then we feed those designs to the surrogate model and get the prediction. So we use the mean and standard deviation to compute the uncertainty region for each of the designs in the design space. Here, you can see the design space mapped to the objective space for two objectives. So the uncertainty region is computed using this equation. If we look at the graph, we see that here each point indicates the uncertainty for designs for which we have measured across both objectives, because there is the uncertainty. The uncertainty region with line indicates that there has been uncertainty across only one, and there is no uncertainty across another. And the rectangles indicate there's uncertainty across both of the objectives because they have not been evaluated. Once we compute the uncertainty region for each designs, then we measure the dominance of each designs. So our dominant design is one for which no other design can be found, which is better across both of the objectives. Once we determine all the non-dominated designs, we identify the optimistic pair front using the same dominance rule with the maximum value of the uncertainty region, and then find the pessimistic pair front using the minimum value of the uncertainty region with the dominance rule with some additional adjustment, which we'll describe detail in the paper. And finally, we determine the pair region, which is the key quantity in computing our acquisition function, which is the region that is bounded by pessimistic optimistic Pareto front. We use the volume of this Pareto region as the main term that we want to reduce while we proceed in our optimization. So our acquisition function considers the information gain per cost. The information gain is coming from the change of volume of the Pareto region given the current Pareto front, and also changing the each design of the Pareto front or the Pareto region to across each objectives to its mean. So we shrink each design to its mean, divide it by cost, and find which provides us the maximum change of volume per cost. So as an example, here you can see there is a design A. The volume of the Pareto region is 0.36. If we measure it across F2, that means we shrink the uncertainty region of A to its mean across F2, we find the volume is 0.34. When we do for other objective, we see 0.33. So we find the change of volume is higher for when we shrink across F1. So therefore, we select F1 and X3 as the next objective. So we find the one for which that has the maximum change of volume as the next design and also the next objective for evaluation. That's how we decouple them. So we repeat the iterative optimization process until the total budget is exhausted or change of the volume of the Pareto region becomes 0. As an evaluation, we use this experimental setup. We initially use some observational data, update the surrogate model, optimize the acquisition function, select the next design objective. If the next design is prediction error, we retrain them. Otherwise, we measure the energy consumption and we update our iterative process and proceed until stopping criteria is reached. We selected ResNet for image recognition with CIFAR10 for our evaluation. We also used Google BART to Squad 2 as the natural language processing framework, and also deep speech with common voice for our speech recognition application. We find that given the same budget, our approach achieves 8.4% lower hypervolume error when compared to other approaches on average. And also we find our acquisition function requires though little extra time to compute, but this time is significantly less when compared to the time required to evaluate objectives at each regression. So with evaluation, you can see it is significantly less. As a future work, we plan to perform a convergence analysis with hypervolume error and evaluation cost. We also plan to perform a convergence analysis using error bound of the approximate Pareto front, and also increase the number of objectives to determine scalability of our approach. In summary, we initially talked about the scope of our work, then we described our algorithm, described the experimental setup, and finally results. Our code and data can be accessed here. Thank you. Have a good day.